Well, as millions head to U.S. national parks this summer, we are shedding light on a little-known list called the List of the Missing. The National Park Service has faithfully kept records of visitors who are gone, often without a trace.
The disappearance of one hiker, shrouded in speculation and intrigue, continues to be investigated long after the event. Photographs taken during his final moments may hold clues not only to his whereabouts, but also potentially provide evidence related to the enduring mystery of Bigfoot. Just imagine the sinister scenario. You are one of the many hikers that call America home and have decided to climb one of the mountain ranges found in your local area because you are an avid lover of nature. What's even better about your love for nature is that you're not naive. You are aware of the many dangers that can be found in these woods. After all, many have come out of the same forest with stories about domineering bears foraging for food, or the menacing pack of wolves they happen to encounter while taking a stroll through one of the beautiful exhibits of Mother Nature. Encountering an extraordinary creature like Bigfoot can be a jarring experience, challenging one's beliefs about reality. While numerous individuals have claimed to encounter this legendary being in forested regions, widespread skepticism persists.
Indigenous people of the area certainly knew about the Sasquatches that they lived among. When white settlers started coming into the area, they also ran across Sasquatches, and they reported them as wild men or wild women.
The only concrete proof we seem to have, despite the persistent legend of this fabled creature, are dodgy images and videos that nobody is in a hurry to believe. Again, perhaps the reason we haven't been able to prove that Bigfoot is real is that the legendary creature snuffs out anyone who may actually be able to come away with concrete evidence of its existence. The disappearance of Dale Stehling. Just look at what happened to Mitchell Dale Stehling, a 51-year-old husband and father who decided to explore Mesa Verde National Park on June 9th, 2013. What he didn't know was that this would be the last time anyone would lay eyes on him for a very long time. In fact, the next time he would be seen would be as a pile of bones. As searchers looked for answers as to what happened to this unfortunate man, they discovered some shocking clues. His mobile phone and other technological devices, along with huge footprints found around the bones. What could have happened to Dale Stehling when he was out there? Could the electronic devices found close to him truly reveal the last moments of this hiker's life? While this unfortunate incident occurred, Dale was a hard-working Texas native who just wanted to take care of his wife and 5 children.
Called the skunk ape, and there's been a lot of sightings over many years of what they describe as a Bigfoot type of creature. What they call that is the skunk ape, partly because it smells skunky, but for all intents and purposes, it's the same thing as a Bigfoot.
He was known as a tenacious butcher who worked 7 jobs in the meat business. His hard work finally paid off when he became the marketing manager at one of his workplaces. His family and friends rooted for him due to his mild personality, noticeable height, prominent beard, and bright eyes, qualities that made him a truly likable character. That is perhaps why many people were concerned when he went missing on that fateful day in June 2013. All he wanted to do was enjoy some of the most scenic spots in the country with his family. They had already taken in the sights at the Thousand Mile Canyon National Monument in Arizona. Unfortunately, the group experienced their first hitch when they crossed into New Mexico. They realized their trailer had broken down without warning and were forced to stop for repairs. Upon discovering their proximity to Mesa Verde Park, the team was relieved and decided to utilize the time while their trailer underwent repairs by exploring the park's offerings. Their first destination was Spruce Tree House, an ancient dwelling site.
The ancestral remains have been in the National Museum of Finland for decades. It was a researcher who took more than 20 individuals and dozens of artifacts back in 1891 from what is now Mesa Verde National Park.
Mesa Verde National Park holds the largest concentration of Pueblo ancestral sites in the United States, encompassing over 600 cliff dwellings spread across a vast expanse of 5,248 acres. This historical significance is attributed to the Pueblo tribes, renowned for constructing their enduring mud brick homes over 1,300 years ago. What's even more intriguing is that locals believe in the legends of strange creatures that exist in the surrounding forests. These mystical creatures are said to be shapeshifters, able to become any animal or human they choose. They are believed to be so powerful that the only way to see their true form is to take them down with a bow and arrow. According to local lore, these creatures can become invisible within seconds and move rapidly to another location. While some tribes view these creatures as fascinating, others see them as malevolent. There are stories of these beings abducting lone hunters and even children from their homes. Because of this, many people are wary of walking alone in the forest, especially if they hear the strange whistle long associated with these creatures. Local residents have been known to carve images of these beings into their walls, referred to as petroglyphs, which serve as a form of cultural expression.
Didn't appear to be the normal accoutrements that you usually see on someone who's hiking in the backcountry. Their torsos are very barrel-shaped. These are creatures that are evolved to muscle their way through the environment rather than think their way through.
With any luck, such illustrations may shed light on the mysteries surrounding disappearances, like that of Dale Stehling. Returning to Dale and his family, after exploring the park for a while, he noticed an ancient site that seemed to call to him. After informing his wife that he was going to explore the site alone, they may not have realized that he had strayed off the main path. Instead, he chose a remote route, perhaps hoping to reach the site more quickly. Who wouldn't want to explore the wonders of nature, especially with the main road leading to a 4.2-mile circular trail. Not only was this trail long, but it was also narrow and steep, making it all too easy for any hiker to tip off the edge if they weren't careful. What would prove to be an even bigger error in judgment for Dale and those who accompanied him to the park was his decision to veer off alone without taking any water, thinking he would be returning to his family soon. This was supposed to be a short detour. Instead, it turned out to be a diversion that would take him away from everyone he knew and loved forever.
Doing the same sort of things as the people of the Pacific Northwest described. The most reasonable explanation for these different people describing the same animals is that they were describing the same animals. Sasquatches have a continent-wide distribution.
In fact, it would only be the strangers and tourists that Dale encountered on his way to the ancient site that would provide any evidence of his path down the trail. Some of these tourists even took pictures of Dale before he was never seen again. Before long, Dinian, Dale's wife, began to worry. It had been quite some time since they last heard from him, and she and the rest of the family were becoming frantic. She attempted to call him, but unfortunately, there was no response. Feeling increasingly uneasy, Dinian called the park service, but the management staff did what they could to reassure her and the family. Based on their experience, they believed it would only be a matter of time before Dale turned up again. They figured that in about an hour, they would all be laughing about the time Dale got lost in Mesa Verde Park. Alas, that hour passed without Dale appearing. Now even more frantic, Dinian and the family called the police. Realizing that this was a serious situation, the police and the Civil Service Administration formed a search and rescue team to look for the missing hiker. Unfortunately, despite the efforts of more than 60 search and rescue personnel, a canine search and rescue team, and a helicopter and rope team, the search for Dale lasted 2 weeks without any sign of him. They even ventured into parts of the park that had been closed to the public in their bid to find him. The authorities found some solace in the fact that Dale was one of the 10 people who disappear in the park each year.
They either had some kind of an experience or somebody in their family had an experience that they, believe and have faith in. Those are the believers. Then you have the knowers. You have people like me and like the guys that I go with when we do this. We know Bigfoot exists. There's no doubt in our mind.
Despite acknowledging the unusual nature of the case, authorities remain perplexed by the circumstances surrounding Dale Stehling's disappearance. It wasn't until September 17, 2020, that a chance discovery by an anonymous tourist led to the recovery of skeletal remains in Montezuma Valley. These were subsequently identified as belonging to Dale Stehling, who had been missing for approximately 7 years. In addition to the remains, authorities recovered Stehling's mobile phone, which revealed unsettling details. Phone records indicated an unsuccessful call attempt around 7 p.m. on the day of his disappearance, followed by a failed voicemail attempt. It is believed that Stehling had entered an area of the park with no cell service at the time. Photographs taken by Stehling during his final hours provided further insight into the events leading up to his demise. The photos showed him navigating through a swamp before reaching one of the streams. The pictures continued until it grew dark, at which point there was a photo of a dark figure lurking nearby. What on earth could that be? It appeared to be a furry humanoid creature standing in the shadows of the trees, truly unsettling. However, these photos were followed by 2 short clips. While we may not know much about this area at this time, we can say that this was probably the moment Dale realized he was truly lost. This must have been one of the scariest moments of his life, the encounter with Bigfoot. After further investigation into Dale Stehling's mobile devices, the authorities found a recording of some rather strange and eerie sounds, specifically a whistle that echoed through the forest. This was the second short clip mentioned earlier. In an even eerier moment, the second short clip captured Dale recording the dark humanoid creature as it began throwing rocks at him. Imagine how shocking that must have been. Luckily, the stones did not hit Dale as he recorded, but it was still a terrifying experience for him. Despite this video evidence, the authorities did not believe Dale was murdered. This was mainly because the location where Dale's remains were discovered had been sectioned off from the public. Even the man who eventually found Dale's remains did so illegally, as he wasn't supposed to be there in the first place. Another reason the authorities were skeptical of foul play was that much of Dale's belongings were found with him. Considering these factors, the authorities developed several theories to explain the circumstances surrounding Dale's demise. One popular theory posits that as Dale was trying to find safety, perhaps creating as much distance as possible from the dark humanoid creature following him, he unfortunately fell off the edge of one of the cliffs in the area.
To identify, first eliminate a hair as a possible Sasquatch hair by attributing it to something known, like a human, or a chimpanzee, or a brown.
Others speculated that he may have succumbed to the elements while attempting to reach the ancient archaeological site he had spotted when still with his family. This seems plausible, as although he was a healthy man, he was not as fit and nimble as he had been in his youth. He had undergone back surgeries in the past and was at a disadvantage if he got lost in the diverse biosphere of Mesa Verde Park. Tragically, Dale eventually succumbed to the elements. To this day, the authorities hope to uncover what truly led to Dale's untimely end. Although he was physically compromised, experts suggest that aside from falling off a cliff, it is also possible that Dale died of starvation while wandering through the park. There remains the chance he was attacked by one of the many dangerous creatures inhabiting such a place. Despite their efforts, few believe they can solve this case. However, some are still trying to get to the bottom of the mystery. For instance, Dr. Elizabeth Harper, a respected zoologist and biologist, proposed an intriguing theory. She pointed to the whistling sounds captured in the earlier recording. Considering how many creatures in the area are capable of whistling, it was noted that out of all the primates, only humans and chimpanzees possess this ability. In fact, it is believed that only one specific chimpanzee has demonstrated whistling like a human. With this in mind, it was also brought to attention that some claim another well-known creature, Bigfoot, may also have the ability to whistle. It is said that this creature whistles to warn or threaten outsiders encroaching on its territory.
I find Chuck's reaction to be very natural, unstaged. When he turns and looks at the camera and points, "Did you see that?" And then he immediately looks back and watches the animal as it walks away. I find that many times hoaxers focus on the camera itself instead of at this amazing thing.
The only issue with associating this whistling with Bigfoot is that many people doubt the creature's existence altogether. Nonetheless, the idea that the whistling could belong to Bigfoot adds more credence to numerous sightings over the years. Consider the time a train in Colorado encountered a brown Bigfoot crossing its path. When it realized it was being watched, it appeared to vanish from sight. This aligns with the myth that such creatures can disappear in an instant, as previously mentioned. While some myths can be exaggerated, these accounts lend credibility to the legend of Bigfoot. Who knows? Perhaps this is how the legendary creature has evaded detection despite its enduring legend. Some speculate that they may be able to travel through space and dimensions, as suggested by native tribes in the past. There is some evidence to support such claims today, including a YouTuber who alleged that Bigfoot's body is magnetized after having the privilege to dissect one. This is truly remarkable if proven true, but ultimately, it merely adds to the mystery surrounding this fascinating creature. Despite its size and distinctive features, conclusive evidence of Bigfoot's existence remains elusive, relying solely on anecdotal reports. If individuals like Dale, who perished during encounters with an unidentified entity, had survived, this enduring mystery might have been resolved. Until then, the search for confirmation continues, fueled by the hope that survivors of such encounters will emerge and provide tangible proof. Perhaps then, we can definitively ascertain the reality of Bigfoot. The hiker's tragic disappearance while exploring an ancient archaeological site has sparked speculation and controversy. Photographs taken during his final moments may hold clues to the nature of the entity involved, potentially leading to the discovery of Bigfoot.